Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Forever SMP. I've been living in this starter base for almost 2 years, and I think I'm finally starting to grow out of it. You see, this starter base is also my industrial area. See, this place is full of farms, full of storage, and full of villagers. As you can probably imagine, that isn't very good lag wise. This area is incredibly laggy, so it's time to start the process of moving out. Now, when I say moving out, I don't mean, fully abandoning this area. This isn't what this is about. You see, I simply want to build an industrial district which is fit for purpose at this stage of the game. I mean, hell, we're 2 years in, I need something a bit better now. So if you remember a while back, we built this massive mountain. You see, the plan for this area is to do one massive custom build, but we're still a good few episodes away from finishing up this project. Now, if we just go beneath the mountain here, we have a lot of empty space, and I would like to use this area for my industrial district. I already did a bit of prep work a while back, removing all the trees, giving us all this space to work with. Even though that is the case, I probably won't be building anything on the surface of the ground. Everything will be built in the air, but beneath the surface of the mountain. So to start an industrial area like this, we're going to need one thing: lots of storage. Fortunately, that's something I can do easily. You see, the storage we have in this area is all manual, and there isn't much individual storage for each item. The farms, however, are a different story. Each farm has its own separate storage system, like this. Even though that's the case, these storage systems are flawed. For example, we only store the individual items, not shulker boxes, and there's no overflow. This means that even though we've got all these chests, we can only store as many as, say, maybe 50,000 items. You see, that's not ideal because I'm the main supplier for resources on this server, which means ideally I'd like to have 1 million of each item that I farm stored. Using shulker boxes, this is easy to do. We'd only need, say, 10 double chests worth of items, with the hopper systems to go along with them. So using that knowledge, I've come up with a design for a new storage room for this industrial district. Oh, and I should mention, like this area, I'll be decorating it so it'll look nice, and once again we'll be using the same block palette, because I am that predictable. And you know the whole YouTube branding thing, so make sure to subscribe if you like the colour blue. And if you don't, well, subscribe anyway. So to build this storage room, I'm going to need 96 stacks of grey concrete, 75 stacks of light blue concrete, 68 stacks of chests, 58 stacks of hoppers, and lots of redstone. Now the concrete should be easy enough to get because I have a concrete duper. If we go over to this side of the storage room, I should have a bunch of concrete in storage already. So we've got plenty of shulker boxes of light blue concrete powder, and a few of the regular light blue concrete. I am, however, out of grey concrete. This won't do. Let's go and use the concrete duper. Alright, so here at the duper, let's turn it on and head into the end. Now we should be getting lots of concrete. Alright, this should be enough grey concrete powder. I now just need to convert it to concrete. So now I need to take this concrete and drop it on the floor, pick it up, and then throw it into this cauldron. That turns all this concrete powder into concrete, meaning I now have all the concrete I need. Let's move on to the chests and hoppers. So to make these chests, I'm going to need to take these shulkers of logs, 5 of them to be exact, then I get to craft them into chests. Okay, these chests are now done, 3 shulker boxes of them. Now to do the same with the hoppers. And there's all the hoppers. I also went ahead and gathered a bunch of extra shulkers of redstone items, meaning we can start this project. So let's collect these and head over to the mountain. Okay, now let's build the storage room for this industrial district. So generally, storage rooms like this would typically work by sorting individual items. I won't be doing that. Instead, I'll be working with shulkers full of items. These shulkers will all be full of the exact same item, meaning no fancy sorting system is needed. These full shulkers of items will be pulled from farms built in this area, and they will already be full, meaning all I need to do is connect them with the hopper line. The idea is that I'll be storing around 250 individual items with the capacity to store 1 million of each item, making this one of the largest storage rooms on the server. I do plan to completely fill this, giving me a quick way of getting lots of items for future projects fast. Well, this time lapse feels quite short. You're actually seeing 3 hours of gameplay. So when compared to other projects I've done, this was a quick one. So with this storage room being finished, I've started the process of moving in. For starters, this will be the hallway of all the colourful blocks. Well, not all of them. There is some more I haven't added here. If we decide to store them, I will simply expand this hallway. Now, I already had some of these items, so I've populated some of these storage silos with them. So, for example, if we look down here, we have white concrete, so we've got a block display here. And if we only need, say, a handful of items, I can pull them straight from this shulker box, for example. However, if I need multiple shulker boxes, I can simply pull them from the bulk storage like so. So I've basically done this with the items I have lots of currently. Then if we go to the opposite side of this storage system, I've done the same with the shulker shells, but the difference is shulker shells is the item I currently have most of in this entire base. So if you look back here in this storage silo, we have one double chest and part of another one partially full. I've also went ahead inside storage for rails. Now this is because I don't actually have much rails currently, but since we're allowed to duplicate them on this server, I will end up with lots of them very quickly, so I need somewhere to store them. Hence why we're doing it right here. They've been positioned in this fashion because that puts them very close to these colourful blocks, which can also be duplicated. Well, some of them can anyway. Now, as much as I'm liking this place has one major flaw. When these shulker boxes are empty, they will be broken and sent into a hopper line. Which makes you wonder, where does that hopper line go? Well, funny story. This hopper line leads to nothing. It's straight up nothing, it doesn't lead anywhere. This was a bit of an oversight when I was designing this place. Now, because these are empty shulker boxes and we'll be able to craft them very easily, at this point I see no reason in keeping them after they're empty. Time to destroy them. To build a system to deal with these empty shulkers, we'll simply output them into a dropper, then we'll take a signal off from our comparer, set it in subtraction mode, repeater, and then some redstone. Then to test this, simply put a stack of items in there. There you go, this thing works perfectly. Just need to add some lava and this system is complete. So now that that's out of the way, we can start building farms for this area. The first items we're going to be tackling is carpets. Mainly because we can build carpet dupers on this server. So I've already went ahead and gathered all the carpets we're going to need, so 5 of each type, and a bunch of building blocks. So I think we're going to be building this right here. So this thing didn't take long at all to build, so I'll quickly share some information about it. This carpet duper will make 60,000 carpets of each colour per hour. There are 16 colours, so assuming all modules are turned on, this thing will make 960,000 carpets per hour. That's an insane amount. Here's hoping I can store all that. If not, I guess I may need to build a super smelter, as carpets are an excellent fuel source. So now that this carpet duper's built, I thought we should probably talk about how I plan to do the storage system for this. So right now, if this thing's turned on, all these items will come through this water stream, but they lead to nowhere. Beneath this thing, I'm going to build a massive shulker loader. And when I say massive, I mean massive. This thing needs to be able to handle 60,000 items per hour, per colour. That's a lot of hoppers. Then that shulker loader system should output the items to these hoppers right here. So we've got 8 colours on this side and 8 on the other, meaning we're going to be splitting the storage system in 2. Good thing I've placed this right at the end of the storage room. Then once that's done, I can simply come and collect my carpets from this storage. Another thing I can do is I can monitor the carpet shulkers as they come in right here. I would also like to have like an on-off switch on another floor. You know, a nice big control panel dashboard type thing. That would be super nice, meaning I don't need to step foot out there. Well, until I need to refill it with empty shulkers. Oh well, that's a project for future me to deal with.